Why do I keep making social media content even though there's a lot of competition now in the dog waste removal space? Because I had a purpose when I started creating this content. I didn't know how to do business. I didn't have resources. I had to actively go out and reach out to people and look online and piece things together. And it's not that I want to make it easy for people to start businesses these days, especially a pooper scooper business. I just want people to be able to have a resource if they want to start this business, because this business changed my life. It really did change my life, and it took me on a completely different path. And I know there can be a lot of bad business practices out there. And I do feel in my heart that I try to put out the best information that I have at that time. So this is the reason why I keep creating content. And for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Erica Crouppen, and I am the owner of Crouppen's Poopin' Scoopin', which is a dog waste removal business located here in Michigan. Now, today's topic, I want to go over frequently asked questions. I've covered a lot of topics here on the channel and on the podcast. These are frequent asked questions that I get asked all the time. So I wanted to not only say thank you for those of you that leave comments. Thank you so much. Thank you for engaging with my content. I truly appreciate it. I also wanted to, for those of you that are watching over on YouTube, I'm working on a new podcast setup and a new backdrop. I'm in the process of leaving the office that I moved into a little under a year ago. My lease is up at the end of next month. So I decided that I was going to bring the podcast studio back home. This is like a section of my bedroom. This is like my old closet area. This is kind of where I was recording social media content like way back in the day. If you go back to my channel, you will see this closet area, and it's definitely changed a lot. I don't know. I got to figure out like how I'm going to build this out and exactly what I'm going to do, but that's another topic for another video. So let's get into this. Let's get into the frequently asked questions on YouTube right now. The number one question I get is, how do I accept payments? This is truly one of the most important things in your business, is getting money into your business, because it's the oxygen for your business. You can do all the work you want. You can produce, if you're laying stripes, you're scooping dog poop, you're a painter, whatever, you're a tree service guy. Like, you could be doing the most amazing work, but if you're not getting paid, you're doing it for a hobby. So right now I'm using Jobber, and I've been using Jobber for the past 5 years, I believe. Now, Jobber is not just a credit card processing system. This is where I do my routing, my customer communication, I do my invoicing. They have reports. They also have marketing stuff built in, with this is actually newer, where campaigns, because the cool thing is when you have a system like Jobber for your business, you're collecting so much information from the customer. Well, not so much information, but like valuable information. Their first or their last name, where they live, their phone number, and email address. So then this way you're able to market to them month after month, year after year. And it's really been nice having all of this information built up in the system, so we can do a campaign every 3 months to people that have not engaged with us, people that have not had an active job or visit in the past 3 months. We can send that out to them. And when they do respond back to those campaigns, we put them on route. It's so easy to collect payment from them. Because we do it with a credit card on file, we can automatically charge the card on file, and I require a $30 deposit for anybody coming on to my route, because I want to make sure that they have a card on file. I want to have them pay the $30 deposit because I want to make sure they have money in their account, and they have to be okay with us charging the card on file after the visit. This way we're not like running around chasing payments, and we're not a bill collector. I'm not in the business to be a bill collector. I own a dog poop removal business, and that's really what I want to do. I don't want to have to chase people down. So that's what I'm using to collect payments right now, is Jobber. If you want to know more about Jobber and you want your own 14-day free trial, I'm a Jobber ambassador. I was with Jobber before I became a Jobber ambassador, and I love them so much. I was like, hey, listen, I want to work together, which led me to get my own special code. So click the link down below, give Jobber a try. Like I said, you can do your billing, you can do your quoting, you can do reports, you can do campaigns, even your routing too, which is really nice. And they have a really cool mobile app where you can do a lot from the mobile app. So definitely give Jobber a try. Check them out. Tell America sent you. Another question I get all the time is about starting the business. And I know a lot of you that are listening are new. You're getting new into the business. You're wanting to know, you're eager to know all the information. So where do you get insurance for your business? Now there's a couple different ways. And before I get into this, I'm not an insurance agent, okay? I'm just a pooper scooper that knows a little bit of stuff. In my business here in Michigan, I am required to carry general liability, and then I also have to have workman's comp. Now this is combined into like a contractor's package. Now if you are just wanting general liability, I'm going to include a link down below. I believe it's called Pet Sitters Associates, and they are able to offer like an umbrella policy for pet sitters, dog walkers, and pooper scoopers. Now this is going to be your general liability, okay? But then you also, if you have employees, you have to have workman's comp. Here in Michigan, workman's comp is going to cover your employees if something happens, if they get hurt on the job, they need to take time off. You have to have that. And for commercial properties, say if you're going to go do an HOA, an apartment complex, they require to have like a certain dollar amount of insurance. Now that varies company by company. So what I have done is I actually use a local broker and he shops insurance for me. Having said that, I am entertaining the idea of trying to implement the Pet Sitters Associates into my business to see if I can use them for what I can use that for, and then use my local guy for the other stuff. I don't have all the details yet, but you can do either or. I have a new teammate, and the kids are on spring break right now, and one of the homeowners' kids let the dog out on my scooper, which that's a huge issue. I'm kind of getting off track here. During spring break, we have to be very careful and more diligent when we're scooping these houses, because normally we're coming and going to these houses, we're texting the homeowner, they're either home or they're not home, they're keeping the dog in. But what ends up happening is when there's kids that are home, they're not paying attention, they hear the dog barking, the dog wants to go outside, and they just let the dog out. And if they are an aggressive dog, that could be very, very bad for both parties. Just like I was talking about, like if my guy would have gotten bit, that would have been a workman's comp thing. Or I think in some states, maybe you can sue the homeowner. I don't know too much about that. The time that my scoopers have gotten bit, it's just been a workman's comp thing. I'm not sure how to go about having the homeowner and suing the homeowner. If you're like an OG person and you've done that before, drop in the comments, let me know. I'm kind of curious on how that works. Another frequently asked question is, where do you dispose of all the dog poop that you collect? That's a good question. I get asked this question constantly. There's two options. There's really two options. Either you take it with you or you leave it at the homeowner's house. If you were leaving it there, I ask where the homeowner's outdoor trash can is, and we put it in the homeowner's outdoor trash can. If we can't access the trash can, we double bag it and we put it by their garage door or wherever they tell us to leave it. Or we provide like a 5-gallon painter's bucket, put a trash bag in that, and then put the dog poop bags in there. Usually, if it's a smaller dog, you can fit a couple weeks worth of dog poop in that bucket, and then the homeowner takes care of it. Now, if you're doing that, you're not considered full service. Ideally, you want to haul it away, and what you do with it from there, that's up to you. You dispose of it in your own trash can at home. At one point, I had 3 trash cans for the business, so I was bringing the dog poop home and I was putting it in my trash can at home. Was that ideal? No, because I live in a subdivision. Were my neighbors ecstatic about it? Probably not. Did it smell? Yes. Was there maggots all over the trash can? Yes. It was disgusting. Or you can link up with a local business and rent part of their dumpster space. I've done that as well. You can rent an entire dumpster yourself and have it put on like, sometimes you can go to like trailer places or places that rent little pieces of like a little lot of land, and you can rent that and you can have a dumpster put there. You could also work out a deal with some customers and say, hey, can I fill up half your trash can with dog poop and I'll give you free service or discounted service or something like that. I learned that from another scooper. Or you can go to the landfill. I personally don't have a landfill or a dump that's close to me, so that didn't really make sense. When you decide, when your business is ready to get an office and you have a nice space, make sure you can have a dumpster and you can put the dog poop into that dumpster. Those are really the options that I know of. This is a controversial one, but should you offer, actually let me read this question right from the piece of paper. Should I offer free initial cleanups if there's a big waste buildup? I say yes. It depends on where you're at in business. Where I'm at in business, I'm not trying to give free cleanups for reviews. I'm not trying to give free cleanups to gain customers or gain experience, okay? So if it's a one-time, if the people are just wanting like a one-time service, absolutely charge them extra. Right now, our one-time cleans are starting. They are starting at $120, and they're going all the way up to $150, $200, $250, just depending on how large the clean is. Now, if a person is wanting to do an initial cleaning, which means they are coming on board, we're doing that first cleaning for them, and they're going to continue with weekly service, okay? That's our bread and butter. We want people to convert to weekly service. I always try to get them to pay for that first initial cleaning. If you can get them to pay full price for that cleaning, have them do it. A lot of customers will. Some customers won't, but they will at a discounted rate because they're signing up for weekly service. So what I've been doing is if the clean's normally $150, I flat rated my cleans this past spring because it just got really crazy and we just needed to streamline some stuff. I was giving them a discount at $79.99 for the initial cleaning. And this is for like a small standard size yard under 4 dogs. Their clean was $79.99 when they signed up for reoccurring service. And they had to pay for their initial cleaning and the remainder of the month service. So their bill was a little bit high. When would I give away a free initial cleaning? When I didn't have any work. If I didn't have any work, I would give away some initial cleanings for reviews to gain experience if I was a new scooper, if it's a charity thing, or if I didn't have any work. Like I had no work. And the only way I could get people on board is if I gave them that first free cleaning to convert them over to weekly service. I don't love doing the free cleanings, and I understand why a lot of companies do it. I just think that my business is like in this weird spot right now where it's a little tough. It's tough to give away those free cleanings, and we stayed very busy through spring rush. So I wasn't too concerned about it. That's my standpoint on it. It's I don't love it. Next question. What should I charge for a 1-dog weekly scoop plus pest control in North Carolina? Well, it's a great question. I'm not in North Carolina, nor do I do pest control. So I can't really help you out there. But a 1-dog standard size yard, 1/8 of an acre or less, weekly scoop, I'm charging roughly around $100 a month for that service right now. And then it goes up from there. But I am in the process of trying out a new pricing model, which I'm kind of a little hesitant. I do get a little hesitant to talk about pricing on here, mainly because I change it. I kind of just see what works and what doesn't work. I think I might have made my prices a little bit too high this year for like how the market was last year. So I'm trying a flat rate between 1 and 4 dogs. I know. At a set price. It might be $110 or $120 for the month. So it's just a flat rate. I don't know. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I'm trying it out. Next question. How do I deal with poop that's frozen solid to the ground? I wait for it to not be frozen. It's one with the earth. I'm not chipping away at dog poop. I'm not getting dog poop in my eye. I'm not splattering dog poop all over the place. I will just communicate with the customer and I'll let them know I was able to get up what I could. Unfortunately, this poop is frozen to the ground and I cannot get it up. But once the ground starts to thaw out, I will be able to get the waste up. Now, there are some piles that you can kick loose. Like, I've been able to kick piles loose, not a big deal. But there's some that are really just super frozen and you could spend all day trying to chip away at them. I'm not doing it. We got too much going on. Now, there might be some customers that are like crazy and they give you a really hard time. But for the most part, most people get it. Like, they're level-headed, they understand, and they see us out there. They don't want us to break a toe in their backyard. You know, it's weird. All right, next question. How did you decide what to charge per yard or per dog? This is kind of a complicated answer, mainly because my prices have changed over the years. I've been in business for 6.5 years. I think we're going on 7. And I first started off flat rate, $55 a month. I didn't care the size of yard, number of dogs. I did not care. I just wanted to work. Then I started working with like the tiered method. And if for like a 1/8 of an acre or less, if you had 1 dog, it was $14. If you had 2 dogs, it was $15. 3 dogs, it was $16. And it went up from there. Now my prices have evolved since then. And now I have this like complicated pricing metrics and it's like all in an Excel spreadsheet. And I'm like, when somebody asks me what my prices are, I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know. I gotta look at the Excel spreadsheet, which I don't love that. I want to just be able to be like, it's $120 for the month. It's $140 for the month. So I'm actually in the process of kind of making it a little bit more basic just for the sake of simplicity. Like, I just got a little too complicated with it. Now, having said that as well, since I have been in business, I've been able to track the data. I know how long it's going to take us to scoop a yard in and out in 15 minutes, 1/8 of an acre or less, between 1 and 4 dogs. For the most part, we should be in and out of that yard unless it's a really, really hefty yard. Now, bare minimum, this is how I started. I wanted my business to start producing $60 an hour. So each technician needs to be producing me $60 an hour. So each scoop, if it's taking 15 minutes, I'm doing 3 an hour with 15 minutes of drive time for that hour. So like 5 minutes in between each house. Each service can't be less than $20. So I don't have any services that are less than $20 now at this point, because at a minimum, my business needs to make $60 per man hour. And that's even kind of low. It got real low since I had all that overhead with the office. But now that I don't have as much overhead, I have a little bit more wiggle room. So that is kind of how I have figured out my pricing. But once you have good route density, you should be able to figure out like how many houses you are going to be averaging per hour. And that's kind of how you can base your prices. If you're in an area where you have rural properties and you're on that property for 50 minutes, let's say you're charging $1 a minute, that property at minimum needs to be $50. I would bump it up to $60 to be quite honest. So yeah. That's my thought on that. What type of disinfectant do I use? Now I use Top Performance 256 cleaner. Link will be down below. I buy it off Amazon. You can also use bleach and water. You can dilute that out. The stability, I believe, on bleach water, once it's mixed, I believe you only have 24 hours and then you have to redo it. So you have to remix it every day. You can also use any type of like kennel grade, like Kennesaw type product. I know there's a few different ones out there, but I've just been using the Top Performance 256 cleaner and it's been so far so good. How do I price someone who wants a weekly or bi-weekly service but hasn't scooped in 4 to 5 months? Well, that's great. I'm gonna consider that to be a seasonal clean. Like that's a major clean. Seasonal cleans for me are 3 months. Once we're getting to that 3 to 5, that's going to be a major clean. And I'm anticipating that I'm going to be in that yard for an hour to an hour and a half. So I'm gonna charge them no less than $120 for that service. And you might be like, Erica, where'd you get that number from? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I just, that's the number I chose and people pay it. So that's the reason why. And then it goes up from there. 150, 180, how many dogs you got? What's the size of your yard? I'm sorry, I don't have mathematics behind it. So that for those of you that are like overthinking it and you're like, oh my, I have to know the exact data just to get started, you don't. You don't. You also got to fill out your market too, because the market changes constantly and people's pocketbooks change constantly and things are different. Things are just different year after year, I have noticed. Do you charge the major clean price plus weekly rates or just the initial clean? So this kind of goes back to the question that I answered earlier. When somebody is signing up for reoccurring service and they're doing an initial clean, and if I'm giving them the discounted rate, right, for that $79.99, they need to pay the initial clean fee and the remainder of that month, okay? Now, if they sign up, say for instance, they sign up like today, it's the last week of the month, they're gonna pay for the initial clean and then all of next month, because they're not getting a discounted rate out of me and then not moving forward with service. So if they don't wanna pay, say if they're like, well, I don't wanna pay for a month's worth of service up front, then they're paying full price. I'm just charging them full price. So they're gonna be paying the $120, $150, $180, whatever it is. Ball's in their court. They can choose. I said what I said. Ooh, a marketing question. Where do I make my flyers and my marketing material? I got mine made off Fiverr. I went and found somebody, but I believe I'm gonna be having a partnership with Taylor Brands here very soon. And I'm really hoping that by the time this video comes out, I will have a special link for you guys. That way you can get all of that stuff created and done all in one-stop shop. I'm actually going to be getting a logo and brand put together through them for the Scoop podcast. I'm very excited because I don't have a logo. I don't have anything for the podcast, so I'm gonna get that figured out. But having said that, prior, I was going through Fiverr and then I would have them printed at Vistaprint. But I found a company local that I'm gonna give them a shot. It's really hit or miss with local. I'm not gonna lie. It's hit or miss. I have used some local companies before. Crappy. I have used a Vistaprint, liked it, but I'm also trying to develop relationships. And I want to do that locally, so I'm going to try this company out. If they don't do a good job, I'm going back to Vistaprint. We'll see. All right. Well, that one wraps this one up. Those are some frequently asked questions. If you guys like this type of content where I'm just kind of hanging out and just rolling stuff off the top of my head, I do have questions that were put in a script for me so I can at least have some train of thought. Let me know down in the comments. And if you don't have a CRM, if you are curious about like routing, invoicing, customer communication, getting paid quickly, Jobber has the money in your account in like 3 to 4 days, 3 to 4 business days, maybe 5 business days. Direct deposit right in your bank account, no funny business. Go ahead, click the link down below and check Jobber out. I love Jobber. I've been using it for a long time. And sometimes I wonder, I'm like, where would my business be without Jobber? I don't know. I'm not really too sure. I don't want to think about it. So I appreciate you guys. And until next time, bye.